This video highlights the area stations features of Rainbird MI software, which runs on all Rainbird Golf central control systems. In this demonstration, we're using Cirrus, but MI works the same with Nimbus 2, Stratus 2, and Stratus LT. In the MI software overview video, we demonstrated how to log in and set some preferences, and provided a quick look at some of the main features. What you see on the left side of the screen is a mirror of what I'm doing on my phone. This is for demonstration purposes only. We'll focus on the Area Stations features, which is the first option on the MI home screen. At the top of the Area Stations screen, we've got courses, holes, areas, and stations. These are quick access shortcuts. Let's select Course 1, then Hole 1, and then we can see our areas. We'll select Greens, and now we can see the 5 green stations found in this software. At the bottom, you'll see 2 buttons, Commands and Status. Status lets us see what is operational, and Commands allows us to turn the stations in that area on or off. For this example, let's click on 1G1 and take a closer look at the information that you can access with MI. We're looking at the actual data in your database on your Cirrus irrigation system. We have runtime data, device data, rotor data, and for IC systems, we also have the ICM address. Across the bottom, we have Commands, Status, and Data. Commands will turn individual stations on or off. Status tells you whether something is operational. And Data allows you to adjust the data. Let's look at runtime data by clicking on the Data button. Here we can see for Course 1, 1G1, we have a default runtime of 10 minutes, a cycle time of 8 minutes, and a soak time of 20 minutes. There's also an ET adjust of 60%, a base station adjust percentage of 100%, a 75% temporary station adjust, and a 5-day duration on the 75% temporary station adjustment before it returns to 100%. We'll discuss those last 2 items in a moment. This is the actual data from our central control computer. So, for example, if our ET adjust, which is provided by our weather system, was too low, we could click in the ET adjust field, increase the percentage, and click Submit. This data has now been updated directly in the central control database. We no longer have to make notes while driving around the golf course, only to have to enter the changes in the central control system at the end of the day. We can manage all of these updates from anywhere, in real time, using a smartphone or tablet. Temporary Station Adjust is an interesting feature that has been around since 2005. Many Rainbird Central Control System users love this feature because it allows them to temporarily set a percentage adjust to manage wet spots, dry spots, or other issues or events on the golf course. For example, if we were driving around the golf course after a rain and saw a really wet spot, we could easily turn off the sprinkler nearest to the wet spot for a few days. If we click in the Temporary Station Adjust field, we can change this to 0. We can also set the temporary adjust days to 7 and click Submit. Now the central control system knows not to run that station for the next 7 days. After 7 days, the default percentages will be restored, in this case 100%. Similarly, if we found a dry spot and wanted to increase the watering, we could do exactly the opposite and increase temporary station adjust to 150% and temporary adjust days to 5. This is a very fast and easy way to fine-tune an irrigation system while driving around the golf course. Across the bottom, we have a double left arrow and a double right arrow. These buttons allow you to toggle between stations in the area. If you look at the top, it says Course 1, 1G1. And at the bottom, if we click the double right arrow, it changes to 1G2. If we click on it again, it goes to 1G3 and then 1G4. So we can very quickly look at all of the stations in this area. In the bottom left corner, we now see the back arrow key. That will take us back to the previous screen, and now we can look at something else, such as rotor data. We can also change some of the rotor data from this screen. In this case, the nozzle is listed as a 751-36 nozzle at 70 psi with a flow of 22 gallons per minute. We can easily change that to a 751-32 nozzle at 70 psi. We'll click Submit, and this data will be updated in the database. This makes it very easy for a technician to drive the golf course, turn the sprinklers on, look at the nozzle color, and verify that the database is accurate. You can also turn on a station. Go to Commands and scroll down to Turn On. Let's set it for 4 minutes. And click Send. Now that station is on. If you look at the Cirrus software on the right-hand side, you'll see that the flow towards the top, or P1, is 20 gallons per minute. And in this case, 1G1 has a red circle indicating that it's on in the field. To turn the station off, we simply scroll down to Turn Off and click Send. It's that simple. Let's take a look at hole 2. Click on Holes, then Hole 2, and then Tees. Let's say we wanted to do a quick syringe on all of the tees. We haven't highlighted an individual station here. Instead, we've highlighted the tee area. At the bottom of the screen, we can click on Commands and select Turn On for 3 minutes this time. And then click Send. As you can see, all of the tees on hole 2 have turned on. Flow managed, of course. On the smartphone, we can see the confirmation in blue that the stations are turned on for 3 minutes. Course 1, hole 2, in the tee area. If you look at Cirrus, we can see that all of the stations that are operational are highlighted in red. We can turn them off, advance them, pause them temporarily, and resume. Let's turn all of those stations off. For example, if we were fertilizing tee boxes and we wanted to water only in those areas, we could use this functionality to quickly run a cycle. We can do the same in the fairways as well. Click on Fairways, then Commands, Turn On. Note that we're not turning on a fairway program. We are just turning on all of the stations on fairway number 2. You can see the acknowledgement on the smartphone and also see in Cirrus that the stations have started turning on based on the Flow Manager. Again, you can advance the stations, pause them, or quickly cancel the command using MI. Looking at the status, it tells us that Course 1, Hole 2, Area F, has 11 stations running with a flow of 298 gallons per minute. If we go back to Commands and select Turn Off, these stations will shut off shortly. Let's go back to the main MI screen. This is the area station definition. There are a lot of things we can do here. We're literally accessing the center control software and updating it immediately while out in the field. This really cuts down on the time needed to set stations. In future videos, we'll cover programs, freedom, diagnostics, and accessories. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call your Rainbird distributor or Rainbird sales manager. And if you're in the US or Canada, you can call the Rainbird GSP team directly.